Welcome back to Everyone Needs an Aquarius. Dom, are you okay? I mean, the fires are going on out there.
I was evacuated
So
early.
explain this to people that aren't there. Like it feels like it's Sodom and Gomorrah out there from to people that aren't out uh, in the West Coast area to understand.
Okay,
I've heard people
so
saying that too. Some of those religious nuts have been saying that.
I don't it's really weird or surreal trying to explain it or like to explain it to people outside of California, pretty much like different parts of California, or if you live somewhere where wildfires happen. Um and So a fire started out in the Pacific Palisades, which is LA County. Um, Malibu was on the other side of that. You got Santa Monica. These are places that, like maybe because of Hollywood movies or reality shows, you might know. Um, and so, I mean, you guys know what Calabasas is. We can give credit to the Kardashians or you
And that's
Drake for that.
is it Michael Jackson too?
Well, he was living in Encino.
Tarzana. He was in Tarzana, right?
They originally were in Encino, like where that house is in
The
Encino.
Jackson family was in Encino.
His Jackson family is
But I'm
Encino.
from, and then where
I
was
don't
Mike?
know where, honestly. Neverland is not in the LA area. That gotta be
It's
somewhere
far
else.
though, right? I think it's
Yeah,
close to
because
Santa
just
Barbara.
because of the square footage, the
Yeah.
acres of that property, I think that's
The
real.
ranch is 5 miles long.
It's how many?
5 miles.
Yeah. So
It's in Santa Barbara County.
that's what I was like. That's way far out for him to have that much space. Anyway, and so apparently this fire
Los
started.
Olivios,
Okay,
California.
yeah, that's out that
Where
way.
the hell is that, Don?
If that's Santa Barbara County, then that's not south. That's like I think
It's
Santa
north,
Barbara
right?
is kind of north. Yeah, Santa Barbara's kind of north. But anyway, so this fire that started in the Pacific Palisades area, uh allegedly, they haven't fully confirmed it, but they believe it started in somebody's backyard. We have not had rain. I can't tell you the last time it rained out here. We're experiencing a drought. There's a lot of brush, a lot of dead vegetation because it's wintertime, which is a fire hazard. And so ultimately that started. Then there's one that is in the Altadena area at Eaton Canyon, which spread into those cities. And everybody had to be evacuated in certain parts. And it's at this moment, I believe it's still only like 8% contained. That fire's been going since like Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. Palisade started over the weekend, and then I got evacuated Wednesday morning, and I just, some of this for sure probably is arson, just based on the Kenneth fire.
Really?
It's arson for sure. And a few of them, the little ones that keep popping up, are pretty confident. I'm not gonna say I'm pretty confident, but like there's halfway that might be arson, and people have to remember.
Stop. So
Yes.
all this is arson, basically.
Yeah, a lot of people here think it's just fully arson. But I know at least the one that was in Griffin Park, which is not far from my house.
Yep.
However that started, the neighborhood put the fire out before the fire department can get there so they were able to come together and contain that fire. But also next to that is Silver Lake, and there is footage and photos of a guy trying to set an old Christmas tree on fire. There was reports of the fire that happened in that's like in West Hills. I believe they said that Kenneth fire was started by somebody. Now they had somebody detained, but then they had to release him. They thought they had the guy, but they said based on what they found, they had to release that person. But a lot of Black people like Jackie Robinson historically are all out in that Altadena way, the area. So a lot of people lost their homes, including my homeboy from All Deaf. And I would say not a friend, but like associate. I use, I'm really weird about the term friend.
Mhm.
But somebody that I'm really, really cool with.
Yeah.
She lost her home in Altadena. And seeing people just lose everything, it's just really weird. And I think the commentary surrounding LA, it's a lot of misinformation that people are putting out there. Everybody wants to and rightfully, like, something like this
There's so many
happens.
conspiracy theories. That's why I was asking you being on the
Yeah,
ground.
I'm like, there's so many conspiracy theories, but I want to clarify with people what's going on, especially having a like a best friend that works for the city. And I know that's like, oh, I got a friend. No. My friend
is plugged
it
in. Plugged
literally works for the city. They had that job since we used to live together. And I kind of want to talk about people wanting to blame Karen Bass. And I
Yeah,
want
what's the deal with that? I've been seeing that a lot.
yeah, and so
Because she's on a trip or something like that, and they like,
yeah,
dude,
so it's not like this person, oh, I'm just gonna be out of town. I know the city's gonna be on fire. There is nothing like that. And then people were mad that she wasn't here. Africa is on the other side of the world. She wasn't in Vegas, frolicking around. You know what I mean? It's
she
you.
wasn't there for All-Star Weekend.
Yeah, I'm literally, and apparently like it was like some sort of work trip or whatever. So whatever, I don't know that's not my business. Anyway, that's not a hop skip away. That's like a 24-hour flight, if not more, including, not including necessarily having layovers and things like that. And so there was like $17 million or something like that cut from the fire department budget, and budget cuts happen. Even that extra money wouldn't have saved these houses, just because we had experienced extremely high winds Tuesday night. And it looked like a hurricane outside of my window. How hard the trees were blowing. And you could hear it. You couldn't sleep because like it was hitting the windows and all this stuff, and all of this stuff is falling down, tree branches, brush hitting your window. And so for them to even try to contain that Palisades fire that spread, it was nearly impossible. They kind of had to let nature do what it needed to do, just because of how strong those winds were. Everybody knows that fire needs air to breathe in. The amount the wind that night, it was something ridiculous, like somewhere between like 60 miles an hour, mile an hour winds, on top of the dryness. Like we've been in a drought last year. We experienced so much rain that, and I would say, when I say last year, I'm gonna say that was probably like 2023, because like our rainy season for the most part is kind of around the holidays. And so, but so much vegetation and all of that grew. Like LA was like really, really green in areas where it's very, like dry and brown, like in your hills and valleys area. And so for us to be experiencing a drought, and then things being able to catch fire, and those embers flying, ash flying everywhere. If an ember falls and it's still warm, it's nothing for it to catch something else on fire. And so it's just been an experience. A lot of people have been insensitive, posting insensitive things about LA, as if everybody out here is making millions of dollars, and everybody out here, for the most part, is the working class. Like actors, your celebrity, there's a lot of celebrities that are working class people. Like they have to stay booked and busy, because all of that stuff don't pay. Everything isn't this multi-million-dollar budget, breaking records at the box office. You have people. I remember Yvonne Orji saying, like she didn't even, have the money to buy a house until like season 3 of Insecure.
I believe it.
And even then, she didn't live alone. Lovey was living with her, helping cover the mortgage.
Shout out to Lovey. That's my homie.
Yeah, so that's a thing out here. Like everybody, it's a LA is literally community, and so to see people say disparaging things, the things that's not factual, like the things with the insurance. Yes, some of that is true, but a lot of the things that happen with the insurance and people not covering them, I want people to understand that's just how right now, if you have a certain type of Kia, they're not covering you.
Mm-hmm. When them Kia boys cars, you ain't getting it.
Yeah, once they did that, they don't have the money to keep paying out, thousands and depending and then you multiply that, they can't sustain. And then you have, just like if you live in a flood zone, you live in a flood zone.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they
you
don't
pay for flood insurance on top of it. It's another insurance you got to pay.
It's another insurance, and so people just get insurance thinking I'm covered. Even your car insurance has to be built out a certain way, because something can happen. Somebody can steal something. Even if you have full coverage, they will still deny your shit.
But also, you got to have gap insurance on top of that.
Yes, I had. You know what? When praise God that I'm almost done. I have like 2 or 3 more payments on my car. I kept that gap insurance. I kept it because I didn't want to come into something and then I'm not covered. That gap insurance is going to cover that. And so there's other insurance out here. It's called what is it called? It's called Fair. And so the premiums are higher, but it covers your insurance. And what they're doing is the commissioner of the insurance out here, he's saying even if your insurance lapsed or they told you that they wasn't going to cover you, whatever, they're pretty much forcing their hands and they're going to make them cover it. And I'm not saying,
you're gonna be all good.
Yeah, it's gonna be all right, and you're gonna get insurance. No. Like, I understand that there's a process to that, and it could take years, because from the last fires that happened, it's still people rebuilding, and now you got whole towns that are burnt down. Like there's historical restaurants that have burned down, historical homes that are burned down.
Like, it was a cat on TV crying because he couldn't get his dad and his uncle's stuff from World War II.
Yeah, and those are things now. Like, I think people thought they were prepared, and they were not prepared. I wasn't prepared. When I got that alert, I had to pack a bag.
But I'm trying to figure out, like, so is this on some Smokey and the Bear? Like, somebody smoking in a forest?
Sometimes, sometimes it could be.
So it is on some old Smokey and the Bear, like we learned as kids.
Yeah, like today, they literally at like the trails and stuff will have what kind of day this is. This is depending on the air quality and the moisture or lack of moisture. It's like that, the color, the chart. Like, y'all see that in St. Louis, like the air quality is if you are outside like this, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And so, I mean, like I said, allegedly this started in somebody's backyard. So you at home kicking it and thinking everything is okay, and then next thing you know, it explodes. Similar to how they keep telling people to stop doing those gender reveals that require, like fireworks at certain levels of explosives or whatever. Like, fireworks are explosives. That's dynamite.
Yeah. Oh, so you think people doing fireworks?
No. I'm just saying, like, that's how because a lot of gender reveals have ruined, I
didn't even think about
certain areas.
That would how crazy that would be, Dom, if it was somebody that's doing a gender reveal and it started these LA fires from a gender reveal.
Yeah, that would be crazy. But no, there are some people that are arson. I have a theory we could talk about offline about a lot of this stuff, but
yours is deep conspiracy. You're not having like a funny, not funny, a comedy of errors situation, like I was saying with the baby shower gone wrong, or gender reveal gone wrong.
Think it's something else.
You're going more nefarious, more deeper into the
Yeah,
the psyche of this conspiracy. Okay.
yeah. And
And I'm
then
thinking the comedy era is like it's somebody smoking a cigarette, like, oh, hey, Craig, I'm
listen,
on
a lot of wildfires start like that.
right.
Somebody
And so I was wondering if it was
just
something
toss
like
the
that.
cigarette, and then it starts like that. That
Right.
has happened out here. That has happened out here. And so, um, like I, I just want people to have, regardless, yes, the celebrities, in a certain tax bracket can potentially rebuild their homes or whatever. But y'all have to also remember that just like you, they have things that are irreplaceable.
Yeah.
We all have, like, it literally, I was like, oh my God, like everything in my house is pretty much replaceable, like, except for, like you said, there are photos. There are, like, people were talking about, oh, you should have paperwork and all of that stuff. I'm like, I don't care. I could go to the government office and get my social security, my birth certificate, and all those things. I'm thinking about like photos of my mom, like stuff from her, childhood photos, things like that, where it's not replaceable. And, people were trolling under Janae Aiko's post.
Whoa. So what happened with her?
Well, her house burned down.
Oh. And
And
people were
so,
trolling her?
yeah, and saying, but and being really insensitive. And
They said, well, she rich, she'll be all right type thing.
yeah, it's like that. But like she said, I don't have Paris Hilton money, and y'all are making an assumption about me. It was some years ago that she had gotten in some car accident and her car got totaled. She was driving like a Prius.
Damn.
And people was like
y'all think
saying
this
stuff about that. And everybody has an allure. LA has an allure where it's like, because people dress up, you go to the parties, you do all these different things. Mm-hmm. That's such a small percentage of the people that are out here. And a lot of people are born and raised. She mentioned that was the second time that she experienced her house burning down. Now, I'm not saying probably that first time it wasn't from a wildfire, but hey, she was like saying how people were mistreating them even in high school because everybody thought they had money. She was like, people don't realize that you have love. And so when she said her house burned down, I immediately was like, fuck. Anything that she could have had of her brothers, she had a brother that passed away from cancer some years ago. I was like, if she had that there, that's gone. Like, that's all I could think about was things like that. And people just being so insensitive to people out here, we're all one paycheck, one step away from homelessness.
It's anywhere, any place.
And that's anywhere. That's throughout the country, but definitely out here. That's how you have like friends living together. Everybody looking out. Like LA, literally, if you are still here and you are, in a nice place and you got a roommate and all these different things are happening, even if that wasn't the case, people are losing history. Think
about New York. Think about New York when COVID happened, where that was like the worst place to be because everybody's on top of everybody. And you're going to get COVID because you're stacked on top.
Yeah, think about what happened. Still. And think about just even 9/11.
Right.
For them to experience a level of loss like that. It was a building, but then think about how throughout the country little things were happening that impacted us all.
And all those firefighters that was down there that was in like that was just out there.
Yeah, you died
of cancer.
Yep. And so I don't know what's going on. I'm seeing this post about this guy that pretty much built like a flame retardant home in the area. So I think the post is insensitive. And the post is insensitive because
the guy that he did his flame retarded home, is that
the post is insensitive because it's giving
I'm better than y'all.
Y'all should have did what I did to my home. Or y'all should have built a home like my home and been in the space of that. And I was like, the person that reposted it, that's a realtor. I was explaining that to her. I was like, I don't think y'all realize how insensitive this is. As a person that's been evacuated, having friends to lose their homes, other people, like that you've been affiliated and associated with losing all of their shit. And I'm like, y'all not out here, so y'all not on the grounds and understanding what y'all seeing. And her reasoning is that as a realtor, this is important, and I didn't know this was possible because we know that, especially the home, it appears to be wood. She said something along the lines of, you would think that would immediately go up in flames, blah 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 blah. We never, I never even heard of the Palisades or knew where that was until this. I was like, it doesn't matter. I'm like, it's like it is literally a read the room moment. Like, that's cool. I believe that you should be having this conversation later down the line. This is something you could be pitching to the city later down the line. We are in a state of emergency.
Let's get this done now.
Let's get this done, and then we could talk about your home later. And if you are able to source those materials to people, because think about how much that house probably cost him to even do that. Everybody don't have those resources.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it still don't matter because people lost shit that they can't ever get back, dog. It's irreplaceable. And again, passing judgment, like, saying things that people, half the country, like the majority of the country can't afford to live in the Palisades zip code. The people that live there really can't afford it. Again, those homes have been passed down. It was a woman that went over there trying to, recover, look up for her. They had that home for forever. And so
podcast, we definitely discuss healing. We discuss aspects of psychology. We discuss, like, you becoming the best you, mental wellness,
for sure,
health,
femininity, parenthood, dating,
definitely dating,
single parents. And it's from a lens of two psychologists,
Yeah.
So,
but also two people who grew up like with both parents, married parents, and then, like, you all know that Chloe and I are the youngest of our crews, like her siblings and my siblings. So so it's from that perspective.
Yeah, looking at life through that lens. So you're gonna get a whole lot of things from us. From us being women, going through life as parents, and all of these awesome attributes. But yes, womanology, the study of women.
The study of women.
Challenge people to have some form of empathy. It's not about y'all. Everybody don't have this. Everybody don't have that. And if they did, at the end of the day, they got it in and they lost their shit. And y'all spreading all this misinformation about what's happening out here. It's like, it's weird. It's people have died. And y'all want to talk about, shit that's not true. I don't know what the world is coming to, but all y'all motherfuckers is weird. We, like, literally, my dude got evacuated yesterday.
Dang, because he's like more in the city, right?
No, more he's deep in the valley. He's on the other side of Topanga Canyon, like that. He's in the Topanga area in Woodland Hills. My brother live out there. They left this morning because they live literally a few minutes from him and went to San Diego to get an Airbnb because his, like my brother's like mom and aunt came in town, and they price gouging people on a lot of that shit. Hotel rooms, rental homes, all of that. But because of the fires and it popping up in random ass areas, I don't blame them, because I said, I was like, I should have went to my hunger house or my cousin house in San Diego, just simply because if there's another evacuation notice, or if there's an evacuation notice at a friend's house, I'm like, and that was my safe haven. And it's like, okay, so we just gonna keep bouncing around and having to uproot ourselves. That shit is traumatic. You know how stressful that is? We are on edge out here. Can't sleep. I thought I took a fucking edible the other day and I ate a fucking vitamin.
Yo.
We tired. We can't sleep. I called out of work the other day because I'm like, I'm tired. My mental health is They sent a fucking another. I was like, right when I got home and got comfortable and started to like try to clean the dust and stuff. Another evacuation notice for it to be a fucking false alarm. It's a lot. Like, come on, y'all. Americans have lost their shit.
Yeah, I just want to see how the conspiracy theories are going to be crazy for this next cycle with it, you know.
And I encourage y'all to believe none of it until if it didn't come from a reputable source. It's a random tweet. It is a lot of people that are intentionally spreading misinformation.
Yeah, I've seen stuff about like the reason that the fire department is all messed up because it's a lesbian fire chief and she didn't want to. It was a DI hire. I'm like, wow, y'all really want to use this to?
And y'all know who said that? People, though, there's people with certain things in their profiles. They are doing. I'm telling you, I know what's happening. And I'm like, I'm telling y'all, but you know, LA.
Stand strong, LA. Stand strong.
Yeah.
Like, is it? You think this is gonna be worse damage than? I mean, I guess that's a question we need to figure out. Is this gonna be worse damage than an earthquake? Some of the earthquake back in, I guess, what
94.
94.
There's Northridge earthquake, which Northridge is on fire right now.
So damn.
Yeah.
And or is the Rodney King riots? Is that which one's giving more damage?
Well, that was technically only one area, and then when that stuff started getting looting, please know that wasn't black people.
Right. Oh yeah. That wasn't black people.
And there's reports
in the other areas.
And there were reports of black people going to loot people's houses and Palisades and all of that stuff. That's not true either.
Do you think this is more damage than the Rodney King? Right?
Yeah. Because the fire alone in Palisades, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think it was Eden Canyon. It's larger than Manhattan. So yeah.
It said the cost $135 billion right now.
Yeah.
Right now. That's just right now.
And it, again, only 13% of the fire in Palisades has been contained.
They're saying right now it looks like it's going to be the most costly natural disaster in U.S. history.
I can see that.
That's what it says on now from what they're looking at. Expectations of economic loss.
Okay, Eden Canyon is now at 15% containment. That's 14,117 acres. The status is still active. And then for Palisades, it is 21,595 acres that are burned.
Damn.
It's 11% contained.
Dude, I'm looking at the thing here. It says that I was wrong with that first figure. It says expectations of economic losses stemming from the fires have more than doubled since yesterday, January 9th, to closer to $50 billion. And we estimate the insured losses from the event could exceed $20 billion, even more if fires are not controlled.
Yeah. So here we are. 2025, you are coming out swinging like, bitch, I'm here. We need you to slow down.
I don't know if this is the best way to transition, but I mean, you said something when we first started this podcast. I don't know if you remember one of our first episodes. You talked about the Twitch situation. We talked about the Twitch situation when we very first started playing one of our first podcasts.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd I say?
I mean, that was early in the days before we was trying to be more.
Really? I feel like we was doing the podcast longer than Twitch.
No, I'm saying but I'm saying, but it was one of the first ones we did.
Oh, okay.
2022. When Twitch passed, and we've been doing it.
We've had this podcast for 4 years.
Going into 3. It's 3. 2020.
Oh, wow.
We started in 2022.
So much longer. Oh my God.
2022 we started. Beginning of 2022. And you was like, hey man, his wife had something to do with it. With him passing.
So my friend and I, like all of us,
That was one of the first. That was one of your first hot takes.
okay. So I remember because he was found like in a motel.
Yeah, a random motel in a motel town. Yes.
And so my homegirl, like my homegirl immediately was like, dude, something's fucking weird. Like this just doesn't seem right. Blah 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 blah. I still had those sentiments. She did too. She's like, I'm going down this rabbit hole. Blah blah blah. We was talking about it last night. I was like, hey, why is this lady trying to say that this nigga had this drug problem and all this stuff? And you know, she was insinuating that he OD'd.
Mm-hmm.
And as if his autopsy results were are not public, and we know they'll also that stuff, especially if you're gonna pay, you're gonna throw somebody some bones.
Mm-hmm.
But I just always felt like it was something else, and it wasn't. I was like, that's
okay. No, our first episode was September 24th, 2021.
That's what I was like. We've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, so it'd be 4 years this year at the end of this year. But we did talk about this one in the first episode.
Yeah, we did, but I still feel the same way. I think I don't know. I don't think it was drugs. I think it's weird that woman, you have his family having to pay for, sign NDAs to go to his funeral, his mama included.
That's wild. Yo, that is
wild to me. That is so wild to me. And you got all these people, speaking out and saying different stuff, and it's just really, it ain't what, baby, this is weird. And I know everybody want me to say my theory.
I mean, you've already put it out there in general.
No, I don't think I said what I thought it was back then. I don't think it's drugs. I don't think it's drugs. I don't think it was drugs then. And he might have indulged in maybe a little Mary Jane or cocaine. I don't know what she found.
Hold on, I'm gonna real quick. I'm gonna let her say it herself. Keep going now as I get this pulled up.
But I just think it's
all right. Here we go, Don. I'm gonna let her say what she said. Let's let her own words.
I had dealt with an ex that had addiction problems, and then I realized Steven had addiction problems, and it's something that I kind of have been like, where was I involved in this? And I had to take some steps for myself to realize, like, I was able to help one, and I wish I could have been that for the other. But it's also not my job to do that. There was a moment I was with one of my really dear friends, and we were cleaning out the closet and picking out an outfit for him for the funeral. And it was a really triggering moment for me because there was a lot of things I discovered in our closet that I did not know existed. And it was very alarming to me to learn that there was so much happening that I had no clue. So it was a really scary moment in my life to figure that out. But it also helped me process that he was going through so much. And he was hiding so much, and there must have been a lot of shame in that. And he was wrestling with a lot inside himself, and he was trying to self-medicate and cope with all those feelings because he didn't want to put it on anyone. Because he loved everyone so much. He didn't want other people to take on his pain.
All right, there we go. That's her words.
So funny enough, when I was about to go pull the cousins' tweets,
yep,
I come across a story where it says Allison Holker recently accused her late husband, Stephen Boss, of being a drug addict. In an interview with People magazine, Allison described finding a cornucopia of drugs in the shoebox in their closet. Stephen Boss's autopsy showed no drugs or alcohol were in his system at the time of his death. His family and friends have refuted the claims and several have pointed the finger at Allison. Several friends have accused Allison of having a drug problem and putting stuff up her nose. While there are no arrests for Allison, while there are no arrests for drugs, Allison was arrested in 2018 in Salt Lake County Utah, for public intoxication and disorderly conduct at the Salt Lake City airport. According to the criminal complaint, Allison was arrested, and the complaint states on or about September 14th in that the defendant did was under the influence of alcohol, a controlled substance, or any substance having the property to release toxic vapors to a degree that the person may have endangered himself or another person in a public place or a private place where the person reasonably disturbed others. She was allegedly charged with disorderly contact for failing to comply with the orders of the law enforcement. Both charges were C-class misdemeanors. In 2018, an arrest warrant was issued for Holker after she failed to appear for the citation.
Of course.
She was never arrested because clearly, if they got a warrant for my arrest for that something small, I ain't kill nobody. They're not finna extradite me.
Yeah, and you just gotta find you get me when you get me.
Yeah, they said the case was closed in 2021, and the warrant was recalled because the prosecutor set the case for failing to prosecute the case after no arrest was made. Allison was able to get out of the charge by not responding and avoiding the warrant. They said a search of court records shows Stephen Boss shows no arrests or citations for drug or alcohol. His record was completely clean at the time of his death. Like, girl, what?
It's just fishy, man, that she just so bent on, like that.
Yeah.
Why would you do this to anybody? Like, that's just maybe you tell, even if you told, the messed up thing is, even if you told other family members that you found this stuff, people be like, damn, that's still disrespectful. The fact you're writing a whole book about it, who are you that we need a book for your life or
and
your
so,
I'll
get this. Somebody said that Stephen Boss was a friend to everyone, and one of his friends was retired NFL linebacker Emmanuel Acho.
Oh no, Acho. It's
Acho, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Allison secretly began dating him not long after Stephen passed away in 2022. They said by spring 2024, Allison was spotted in Monaco holding hands with Emmanuel while leaving in a luxury hotel.
Oh wow!
They never went public with the relationship, but comments left on Instagram posts allude to the fact that she may have been cheating on Stephen with Emmanuel.
So Eden, my thing is, if you this dirty in the game,
hold on. Can you pause?
You got more.
Pause it. Pause this.
Oh, so I mean, is it so? How this whole thing is like, it's almost a thing of like, yo, your ego must be super high to think that you can try to get this jack to walk. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
All right, people already was kind of on the scuttle, but it was on the low. People was like, man, it don't feel right. I feel like she kind of forced him into this suicide, was stressing him out. It was all that kind of scuttlebutt was in the air. And they just like, either you thought that people forgot, or you were like, I can get sympathy and get a check, or someone told you can get a check by writing this book. And my thing is, why are you that important for a book? Who are you? Who is she?
You know what? But she is somebody. I feel like I heard her name. But no, I'm trying to find.
If she ain't got no Wikipedia, she ain't nobody.
I'm like, why does her name? I'm trying to pull up the tweets from the cousin.
Allison Holker. Let's see.
Because Oh, somebody said we have been saying from day one that Stephen switch process was forced upon him, and this foolish woman go on a podcast and try to destroy his legacy. What did you do to him? What's done in the dark will come to the light. And I'm like, it's like, and okay, so and then the cousin said she won't let our family see his kids. Like, this is weird. And I don't know. It's like, okay. So I found the cousin's page. And she said, yeah, I don't give a fuck about an NDA. This crazy woman made me and his actual family, including his mom, sign an NDA just to even attend his funeral. She's been trying to tarnish his legacy and refuses to let the boss family see the children, only to exploit and lie on my cousin. Hell no. And then she was like, I retweeted it, that same tweet, and then said, the autopsy report is fucking public, bro. He didn't even have anything in his system when he died. And then she says,
So is Allison responded? Is it Allison responded?
No. This is just this is his cousin. She was like, by the way, I said this back in 2023. This has been going on, but instead of receiving help or any support, people want to speculate about my life and claim that I'm broke and I want a payday. For what? Yeah.
Then what's the purpose? Then where are you doing the book then?
She's just saying that, like, hey, I just want to tell y'all the truth about what we've been experiencing as a family. Like, y'all got kids together. We can't even. Huh?
She don't need to do all that. Is my point.
The cousin?
No. I'm talking about Allison. Like,
yeah. I'm like, and she said that somebody was like, I was hoping the family would speak up, open up to a private investigation. I didn't know him personally, but from the outside looking in, it didn't seem like he was ready to leave this world. And she's like, we've been speaking on it for about a year. And I guess now that her book is coming out, it's been getting some traction. Yeah.
Hey man, would this surprise you if she walked herself into a thing of them trying to investigate her for something happening to him?
I could see that potentially happening.
Like, she walked her way into it. Like, we weren't gonna mess with you. You got us.
Yeah, and then she was like, hey, I was at the funeral. Everyone there had a relationship with Stephen because it was a small service. She then held another one for the people he wasn't close to and the others. Hope that helps.
So is this a conversation?
These are her tweets.
Okay.
And so, man. And I was like, just, this is weird. It's weird. It's weird. It's like the fact that, like I was telling you, remember that one time, like, you sometimes, I don't think people can, there are some people that have, I'm going to say, that are gifted in, like a unique way.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you can look at something or you could touch something and you could pick up you could feel that energy from whatever that is. I'm like a person like that. I remember when Shakir, they said he died. Like that. It was like suicide. Shakir Stewart. Yeah. Yep. I was like, nah, something is weird. And I don't know him. All I know is that he, was like a music exec. I've never met that man a day in my life. And I looked at that headline and saw that photo, and I was like, that's something else. And yes, he very well, and I want people to understand this is not a speculating or me creating a conspiracy theory, because it is possible to be extremely depressed and you can mask. You are high, you are high functioning. Mm-hmm. Like my homegirl just found out that she is depressed, and I was like, oh yeah, you've been masking this whole time. I already knew that.
Dang.
You high functioning, like, but when you can't tell people certain things. So when she said that it was confirmed, she went in to get a test for autism. She was like, I think I'm on the spectrum. And then what the lady told her was like, I want to do some more testing, but I'm concerned because you're experiencing a lot of symptoms of depression. I was like, do you not realize what has happened to you in the past year?
So she went straight that she thought she was on the spectrum, not that she could be depressed.
No, because if you don't know, you don't recognize the symptoms and the function, and you could be feeling overwhelmed. You tired. You think it's this, it's that. You could think you be deficient in a vitamin or something, child. And so it is very well possible, especially because he is a Black man. You very well, it is possible that you are depressed and nobody around you knew, because you appear happy. You are masking. Yeah, you are putting on that front. But deep down inside, your soul is rotting. Like, you feel terrible.
But she shouldn't be out there talking about this.
That's not her place. And it's like, y'all got kids. Y'all got kids.
Because my thing is, like, if anything happened to like a woman I was dealing with, even if it was somebody I used to deal with, I wouldn't even want to talk about them like that, because if I had any love for them, I want to protect who they were. Like, maybe me and you talk about some shit on the low, but I wouldn't be out on no like, hey, she used to be on that cocaine. I used to pick her up from the crack house on the 10th. And then, she used to be a hoe too, but we ain't gonna talk about that part when she had a pimp in Las Vegas. Like, dude, like, what? Why? That has nothing to do with nothing, man. She's dead now. She's long gone. If I ain't kicked dirt up on her name while she was here, then I'm not kicking dirt up on her name while she's gone.
Like, what's the point? What do you gain from that?
But I think this is going to be I think this backlash is horrible for her. I don't even think this has worked out. Yeah. She thought she would get the sympathy and like people, oh my God, you were so strong. I don't think people was like it ain't turn out how she wanted to go.
Yeah, not at all.
All right, everybody. So this part we had to reorganize and re-record because we did an interview with our brothers from Love, Peace, and Spades, but with the fires going to LA, we wanted to reconvene and push that back later on. So you're going to go into the rest of the episode after this. You're going to get more content from us, but you're going to see us with different clothes on. I hear it sound different because we both stopped up now and stuff. So it's all the same. It's just wanted to give you a little heads up of how it's going to look. All right, y'all. We're going to keep going. Peace.
The I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a show for 80s babies who were 90s kids. If you were a No Limit soldier, then this is your show. If you believe that Cash Money is not an army but was a Navy, this is the show for you. If you and your friends ever tried to sing a song written by Escape, In Vogue, Shy, or Boyz II Men at a talent show during middle school, this is your show. The I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a bunch of 80s babies talking about all the songs and things that we loved when we were kids and teenagers. So if you went to the skating rink and you were at a lock-in, this is the show for you. If you think that Tevin Campbell was the original Prince of R&B, this is the show for you. If you don't understand the conflict between Monica and Brandy, but you're kind of on Monica's side and understand why Brandy got punched, this is the show for you. Make sure that you tune in, subscribe, click the little subscribe link. We're here. We're going to talk about all things 90s music. This is the show for you.
I just want to be healthy and happy. That's all. But life is good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I mean, we're snowed in, Sonoma getting here in St. Louis, 15 inches. And you know, I got the little, the little sports car thing, and I tried to drive it out today, and it's like no, because I was trying to get out to go do something, man. I tried to drive out the driveway, and I got stuck coming right out the driveway like that. Like it was so much snow. It was at my license, but like my license plate already. I lowered it to the ground. I was like, I'm on shit.
And look, y'all, Daryl was supposed to meet me out when I was in St. Louis for Christmas. Daryl ghosted me. Daryl ghosted me. We didn't record.
That's not true.
Daryl was in my ass. I did not see Daryl.
It's a lot more extraneous situation than that, but we won't
listen. I was like, dang, send a text and let a nigga know. And then we didn't figure out when we could record, but it worked out because I was slowly starting to get sick in St. Louis. So
oh, that's when you got sick?
So like I was sick. I was feeling it a little bit like Sunday, and then Monday I tried to work and I was just like too tired and exhausted. So I like took like hella Zicans and shit and medicine. And when I left on Tuesday, like I felt fine. And then went to a friend's house for New Year's. We were outside, and maybe being outside in that cold kind of could have messed with me. But yeah, I don't know. I ain't been right since. Shit. Here we go.
And yeah, but everybody, later on in the show, we will be having an interview of Love, Peace, and Spades, an awesome organization out in Los Angeles that supports and shows love in games. So you'll be able to check that out later on within the show. You're on Tax On. But let's jump into the thing, Dom, that the sports world, entertainment world.
I forgot to mute this. I was to blow my nose. I forgot.
I was gonna roll with. I was rolling with.
Okay. I'm sorry.
And they say we was tweeting through it. I was tweeting through it.
I'm sorry.
This lawsuit from Niraj. Hold on, let me get this. Sisters, I had it before.
Oh my gosh.
Hold on. I have everything here, but I'm just sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I had it good for the other lawsuit. So it is the young woman. I don't know how old. I'm just gonna say young woman. I don't want to disparage her. From Noushin Faraji is the young lady's name. But shout out to what is the sister's name? I'm gonna play this clip from her that you sent to me. With her breakdown.
Noisy bystander.
Noisy bystander. Go check her out. She gives a pretty good assessment here. We're gonna play this, talk about it a little bit.
I just want all three of y'all to know y'all trifling. Y'all, this Fox News lawsuit is crazy, so follow me down this very windy rabbit hole. Now, a hairstylist by the name of Noushin Faraji is suing Fox News and making all of these accusations about some of her co-workers. It all began when she filed this lawsuit, which starts off with a 6-point complaint and a 7 or 8-point complaint and demand. First, we're going to start with Joy Taylor. Joy Taylor happens to be a Fox News contributor, and she runs a couple of the shows on the Fox News Network. I don't know all the shows. All I know is that the lawsuit claimed that she had worked her way to get on Undisputed and another show called Speaks. Now, in the complaint, which actually begins back in 2012, when Miss Faraji began working as a hairstylist for the Foxsport Network, or FS1 is what they call it, she stated that she was working there part-time, and then they allowed her to work there full-time, and she was just doing a variety of people's hair there at the time. Now, Miss Faraji stated that she had met Joy Taylor, and Joy Taylor was working as a part-time bartender, as well as she would sit in on some of the Fox News, like the one-off shows on the weekend. She would sit in on those, but she was not a full-time contributor or full-time anchor at the time. Now, Miss Faraji stated that she was invited out to dinner by Miss Taylor, Joy Taylor, and some strange guy she had never seen before. And then one day she was getting on the elevator at work and she saw the strange guy and she was like, "Oh snap, Joy girl, I saw the dude that we always go out to drinks and get dinner with." And Joy was like, "Girl, don't say nothing. That man is married and he's the executive to Fox." So Faraji had told her allegedly, "Hey, I don't think you should be engaging in this," because at the time Joy Taylor was married. She was living in Los Angeles, but her husband was stationed in Miami, and that guy that she was hunching on, his name is Mr. Dixon, and he also was married. Now fast forward to, let's say 20 dinners later with that Dixon guy. He then says, okay, I'm going to create this new show. It's going to be called Undisputed, and I'm going to have Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe on it, and we're also going to have Joy Taylor. Now the complaint says that Skip Bayless didn't want no parts of that girl. He's like, I don't want her on the show. She's going to basically just turn the show into a girly show, whatever misogynistic men say. And the executive, Mr. Dixon, was like, no, I want her on the show. So she basically was sleeping her way into the show. Well, her husband finally comes from Miami to Los Angeles, and he noticed that her interaction with that Mr. Dixon guy at a dinner party was weird. He calls it out, and he's like, you know what? Divorce. So he ends up divorcing her. Now, this is the Mr. Dixon guy she was hunching on, but she wasn't done hunching on him yet. Mrs. Faraji also stated at another Fox News, cocktail hour party, he also had groped her as well. So he was just all kinds of fast and loose with his employees. The groping occurs after he had made her the hairstylist for the show Undisputed. Now, Miss Faraji also stated that she not only got groped by Rick Bayless. Oh, Skip. Rick's the brother who has nothing to do with this lawsuit. Okay, she also stated that she had got groped by Mr. Bayless, but it didn't stop there because he was hounding her to sleep with him, even offering her $1.5 million straight cash to sleep with him. And she refused. She said, I remained professional all the time because one, you're gross. And two, she doesn't want to sleep with you. Now, in the charging document, she stated that Skip Bayless did not understand why this woman didn't want to sleep with him. And so he started accusing her of sleeping with Shannon Sharpe. And Shannon Sharpe was just a gentleman. He was like, just cut my hair and that's it. And I'm going to work. Shannon Sharpe he didn't even have a discussion about touching that woman. But in Skip Bayless's mind, he kept saying, oh, you're sleeping with Shannon. Oh, da-da-da. So that's when she started recording her calls because she's like, you know what? I can't trust this man. Now it says in this document here that on April 22nd, Miss Ferrara had arrived to the makeup room. Now, mind you, at Fox, all of these makeup rooms are recorded. I don't know if it has something to do with like audio visual or technical, or if it's just for safety of all of the staff, but all of the rooms are recorded. The hair room, the makeup room, not the dressing room, but the rooms where everybody comes in at different intervals gets recorded. She stated that she turned on a recording device and Skip Bayless walked in and he tells her the room is bugged. It's not bugged. It's just recorded for their safety because of perverts like you. So then he goes on to tell her and say, that he would hate for her to lose her job, but she can't keep doing this. And it's in their archival. She said that she kept reiterating to him that Mr. Shannon Sharpe is polite and I'm just doing my job by being polite to him. And then Skip Bayless starts screaming, BS, 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 that's BS. And then Skip Bayless warned her that if she didn't want to lose her job, and Miss Faraji responded and that she wasn't going to lose her job because she's a great hairstylist. And then Mr. Bayless replies back and says, I have a love for you and I have for 6 years and you hurt me and you're ruining this. This meaning, why are you not sleeping with me? And then this is when he invited her to his house. Now, mind you, Skip Bayless is married. He invited her to his house and she refused. She's like, I'm not going to your house. At the time, she took all these recordings to her therapist who was giving her all of these different types of therapy, therapeutic therapy like eye movement, desensitization, and processing to talk her through her ongoing work relationship with Skip Bayless because he was literally driving this woman crazy. Now, Fox News hasn't replied back to this affidavit, but I'm sure with all the recordings and text messages, it's not going to be looking good for anybody at Fox Sports.
All right, Dom. That was a pretty good summation of what's going on with this Fox Sports situation with Skip Bayless, Joy Taylor, Emmanuel, Acho,
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, yeah. You know how I feel about it. Where do we want to start?
I mean, okay, here's the thing. If let's say Joy Taylor did do this, right? Let's say, because you and I talked about this and how we
hold on, Don. Can you hear that? Stop real quick. Don, can you hear that? You hear Xander singing?
Oh wait,
she's singing her heart out upstairs.
No, I can't
sing her heart out upstairs.
Hey, let me go check on this door. It's windy out here. No, I really can't hear it. Can you pause this, Dale?
Oh man. All right, Don. But what you got? What you got on this situation?
It's just real interesting because I feel like a lot of the discourse is surrounding Joy Taylor, as opposed to Skip Bayless being a mess and also wanting to pay $1.2 million for some coochie. It's just really interesting because, like I was saying, like, let's say hypothetically she did this. That is nothing that's out of the ordinary. You know, that people do that. And I mean, if it's gonna be something, I don't know, like it's really interesting because now there's gonna be discourse around women, and it's always discourse surrounding us. But now it's like that conversation of like, now it's not just necessarily Joy. You know, this is trickling down and going to impact other people. And again, what one person does shouldn't have to impact anybody else in the long run. Like we all are peers. We work in this industry, and you know that's just been a reoccurring thing that we've seen time and time again. Or it's like, oh, somebody isn't that great. I bet she slept with somebody. Or, oh, she's too attractive to be here. Did she sleep with somebody? Like, it's always just weird things like that. And you know, with her, you know, even having a podcast with Taylor Rooks, you know, Taylor Rooks had posted something today about her being on, you know, going to be a correspondent for when they start showing the games on, you know, Amazon. A lot of those comments that she's flooded with are comments, you know, saying, "Oh, did you sleep with somebody?" or "Are you or are you did this the honest way?" And so it's just weird. Like men, sometimes y'all just be weird. Like, because I'm like the issue is not necessarily about this woman, but this is supposed to be about Skip Bayless, and it's turned into this bash fest. And I'm not saying what she did was right or wrong. What somebody else does, don't make me go, you know, don't make me shit. But it's just really interesting that this is the conversation, and it's gonna be a conversation for a while. And like you know, when we talked about it offline, ultimately, I really believe that since they're going to investigate these claims, you know, like Skip Bayless no longer works there, which, like I said, it'd be interesting her suing them, and if they ultimately have to settle and pay her out, I wonder if they can turn around and sue him to try to recoup some of those funds. I don't know if that's a thing, if that's possible, but she probably about to lose her job. She probably wants to spend her. I don't know. Like, you know, when we had the Yes Michelle thing happen on Shannon Sharp's live, you know, he was not in trouble for that. You know, he took a day and then he reported to work the next day. And I told you why I believe him, just because of how my Instagram is set up. But ultimately, you know, you could potentially lose your job. Because they're not going to fire the CEO.
So I read through more of this, Dom.
Okay.
I say like 70% of it. Hey, man, that hairdresser does not like Joy Taylor for something happened between, like, because it's a lot of personal things in there that has nothing to do with a lawsuit. If you read through it, like, yeah, she was messing with such a, what does that have to do with my lawsuit? Like, I mean, it's just so many like personal things in there that have nothing to do with. Well, it's like she's got a beef with, like, she's got to axe the ground with Joy for some. I'm not saying that she doesn't.
Okay, so here's the thing: Joy, like I told you yesterday, is technically collateral damage. So,
no, I think that she actually don't fuck with. It's something happened with her and Joy though, dog.
Oh, I can see. But
it feels like something happened between them, and something happened where one person go and she's like, "Fuck it."
But don't forget, she already showed her hand when the girl, you know, told her about the interactions that she had. You know, when she, you know, I confided in her and told her about, you know, what Skip Bayless had said to me, in the run in with you know, like the CEO.
And then he's been pressing up on them and everything.
Yeah, and so here's the thing.
Joy Drac, she's in there more than the people that she mad at, that she's saying did something.
Oh, absolutely. Because she probably now realize what I told you yesterday. And what she realized is that she got played. She was the cover. She was the scapegoat in all of this. Like she said, y'all going out to dinner. He buying us drink. He taking us to happy hour. They ain't going to Applebee's. So once she put it all together, she was like, "Oh shit," you know. And then for the other ripple effects of that, and you holding, you know, this secret that could just blow everything, you know, open. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And so something, I feel like something probably really could have happened, but that goes back to what we were saying about understanding, you know, this is my coworker, we kick it, we go get drinks after work, we go to happy hour, versus what a friend is. Because I can't see me telling my friend, even if we work together, and I tell them something that I experienced, and this is coming from a person that has been sexually harassed on pretty much every job, where somebody is telling me, don't say shit, let it go, it is what it is, like it's a part of being a woman. No, I'm going to go get my bag and call this and say what it is.
But like you said, though, it does mess up the game. Like, I mean, I don't know if I believe any of this stuff, though. And you want to know the part that really upset me the most? And this don't sound petty as hell. Yeah, I told you a little bit. The fact that she gave the box up to Emmanuel Acho, like that's the one that really that's the one that really
like that to not say his name right. You like, I'm not saying
it just I just can't, like, because that's like, wow. And to me, that if anything is like, oh, you just want, if it is true, any of that, oh, you was, but like, but he a lame that can't do nothing for you. He ain't had no power there. I get the Cox dude. He's one of the head dudes at Fox Sports. If you, that's how you was kind of moving, cool. But Emmanuel Acho, it's a corny one, right? Like that's a greed. Like that don't even make no sense. It just I
mean, the thing that's interesting is it's like
like that. Like a lame, and then hold on. You know. Oh, keep talking though. Did you see what Jason Whitlock said? Fat.
Oh, I was like, okay. See,
I hate that.
But here's the thing.
Mel, I tell me and you just have beef on a essential level, and I think you lame. But fucking Jason Whitlock, you fat fucker. And I know we trying to.
That's the thing. It's like, but see, this is what it goes back to, like, because of this alleged, we're gonna say alleged affair, you got niggas thinking that people are gonna fuck on any and everybody. It's that's not what this is. And I'm like, nigga, you still like, this doesn't make sense. And I don't understand why people feel like, oh, well, she did that with this person and that person, so for sure she gonna do that with me. And I had to stay away because she got big titties and that peanut butter skin. So you were attracted to her.
I'm gonna pay for this fucking fat fuck.
Don't play that shit on here. Don't play it. Don't play it. Because the next thing you know, watch him. I just think it's weird, and that
nobody want no goddamn Jason Whitlock. Can't have no power.
But this is what we talk about when it comes to dating and the level of delusion that exists. He's one of those,
like all y'all bum ass niggas that think Joy does have talent. Let's not get it twisted. If she did sleep her way to do that, it could be true, but she does have talent as well. And all y'all dumb fuckers that live in fucking Boise, Idaho, that think you supposed to be on a telecast and think because it's a woman and then they want supposed to be. That's the sucker shit like that. That's what really pisses me off more.
Like, it's always an interesting discourse. It's like, and it's always because women are, like women are attractive. It always falls back on us. So now it's like she is Jezebel. So you're saying that this
she could have done all this. Let's keep it 100. She could have done all this shit though.
That's what I'm saying. She could have done this, but then you're painting her out to be this Jezebel, like temptress, where you're saying I had to stay away from her because I knew what I wanted. But I'm like, this has nothing to do with her. This has everything to do with you and you being delusional and horny.
Nobody wants you.
And that's a lot of men. It's a lot of men that have like interesting negative things to say about her. And like you said, I didn't watch Undisputed consistently or anything, but like you said, she does have talent.
She was on a successful radio show before that in Miami, and now I always thought she may got a hookup because her brother is Jason Taylor, a Hall of Famer linebacker. I always thought that was a hookup. Hey, that happens all the time. So you can't be talking no shit about nepotism because fucking 85% of all this stuff is nepotism in general, or through a hookup. Yeah. So it's just and it's like, but it felt like she had axe to grind with Joy for sure. And if you read through that stuff, like she was coming after Joy. Like she was just bringing up, it would be like, at 5 p.m. And suppose she has a diary. That's why she said that everything's bona fide true because she kept a journal. And I'm like, damn, a journal was a bona fide thing. I could have wrote that journal week before my goddamn deposition to do this case.
But like I told you, the thing will be interesting is if like if they would have to subpoena the therapist. And then the therapist notes, because now if that is, at a later date.
But isn't that confidentiality in the medical?
It's confidential, but if she agrees to it, it's not like, technically it would be a HIPAA violation, but if she talked to her and agreed for the attorney, her therapist to be a witness, and she says, oh, I can vouch for you. This date you told me this or that, then that's it. That's the extent of that right there.
And we gotta talk about Skip Bayless, man. Hey man, if this is true, man, hey Skip Bayless, you a wild boy trying to spend 1.2 million on some box.
Dude, like I and it's interesting reading the comments even around that.
Everybody's getting props but Joy though. Let's keep it 100. Everybody is like, oh, it is what it is with all the fellas. Only one taking the most heat is Joy.
It's Joy. And then and even seeing women kind of come at the hairstylist saying, girl, I would have took that $1.2 million. He ain't gonna last 2 minutes. And I'm just like, y'all don't get it.
Hey, like, they said they will take that 1.2. They will take that 1.2 down.
And that's, I'm like, it just really sucks because now you putting yourself out there, and you went the extra. You got this suit, and now people, it's like cracking jokes about a traumatic experience that you had, right? And ultimately. At the end of the day got to end, and somebody got to pay. And and somebody got to pay. Somebody got to pay could also mean somebody got to lose their job, because they like I said earlier, Skip is gone. He gone. So it ain't like we can even suspend you while we investigate this, the situation. But Joy Taylor still works there.
Yeah.
So what's gonna happen with that? They're gonna suspend her without pay probably while they investigate, and then come back with whatever their answer is. And if they find those other claims to be true, that if they could prove that these things happen, Now you it's an ethical thing, and she'll probably lose her job.
All right, Dom. So, all right. So, do you want to go into what would make you the maddest here now, or do you want to talk about Drake and then go into that?
I don't know what would make me mad.
Or not talk about Drake at all and go into what would make you really mad.
Fuck
I
Drake.
think you may need time with this one. I think you may need time with this one. All right, I'm just gonna play
it. In comparison to Taylor Swift.
Really?
100%. Like, no one wants to hear cowgirl music. I'm sorry. Like, keep it real. Like,
I got around, you've been trampled on and lost and found.
Taylor Swift dance better than Beyonce, yes or no?
in my opinion, yeah.
What?
A different way. That's the best way to put it. Everyone moves in their own groove, and Taylor Swift, I think, does it in a better way.
You think Taylor Swift is vocally better than Beyonce?
100%.
That's a take.
I have a good argument against this. You chose the wrong girl to talk to.
But
this is rage bait, right?
All right, Dom. I
know what's so funny is that I saw a piece of that clip yesterday and I kept scrolling. I was like, oh girl. And see, here's the thing. I think two people can be great.
Yes.
Taylor Swift is great. Beyonce is great. But great. You know what I mean? And I think ultimately they're in a league of their own, right? And I think people the Hive, we don't be coming for the Swifties or anything like that. That be them coming for us. You know what I mean? And there's a level of that girl was probably mediocre. She speaks to like mediocre at.
Yeah. No. Yeah,
like,
I agree with you. Keep going.
And so for her to even say that, oh yeah, I mean, it's in their own way, but you just said that. So the two, you can't compare the two. So you sitting up here looking dumb, trying to even go back and forth about this. Like I told y'all, I like Taylor. There's a few Taylor Swift songs that I like. And so it's just weird. Like, yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah, she's better than Beyonce. Like, I just want to say so I can go fucking viral, have my moment, hot tour. You know what I mean? Like, it's giving weird, and it's like Mariah Carey says, "Why are you obsessed with me?" That's what y'all doing. That is what y'all doing.
It's the messed up part. All right, this is gonna your sports reference here. Taylor Swift is to Caitlin Clark what Aisha Wilson is to Beyonce. Asia Wilson, I'm sorry.
Asia, I was about to say, now.
My bad.
Okay,
Asia
thank
Wilson.
you for correcting that because I was about to ask you.
Yeah, Asia
okay,
Wilson, sorry.
Right. Okay, so look, but it's just like they flat, small lips. You know,
no, but I'm saying, but it's like, oh, someone is in this space that has consistently been a black space and been able to be successful at a high level. Mm-hmm. Oh, they must be better. Caitlin Clark. What Asia people are trying to say, Asia Wilson, Caitlin Clark's better than Asia Wilson, and she out here dropping triple doubles. You ain't nowhere close to her.
See, this is what we mean when we talk about like.
But they both can be. Both of them are dope though, like you said. Like all of them are dope. You don't have to try to lie. You ain't got a lie to kick it.
Yeah, and I think the frustrating thing is that also ultimately this chapter of Beyonce's career isn't isn't necessarily about, it ain't about them. And so when you can't be included in that space and you trying to, how you gonna hate from outside the club? You can't even get in. Word to Chris Brown. Like that's what Renaissance is about. You know, taking back things that we created these spaces. So now we are entering, you know, we have the country chapter of that as well.
So, is that true about the horse thing with Beyonce? Supposed
how that horse starts out black and then that horse changes to colors. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a true thing.
But I'm saying, but like that's the whole concept of how you all, the Beehive, is figured out it's going to be 3 different black genres that have been taken from us in theory.
Yeah, well, you know,
because the first one was house.
The speculation that the third act will be rock and roll.
Right.
Which, in honesty, Beyonce had already given us previews to these chapters. You know, on Lemonade, you get a little bit of rock. She has a song. It's like "Don't Hurt Yourself," which is very loud, screaming guitar. And then you have Daddy Lesson. And then you know, so it's just interesting.
Is it gonna be hard rock, you think, or is it gonna be soft rock, or like what is this?
Maybe yacht rock, we don't know. But
look, if she better, like, I have my personal favorite. She need to have Michael McDonald. If she gonna do that, she need to have Phil Collins. They need to be on there.
Listen, no, I think
Sting.
I think it's gonna be something. Okay, so the interesting part about Cowboy Carter is it's like really that first half of that CD, that album is country, like, and then it seems like it goes kind of into like an experimental country, because initially this was supposed to be first. Act 2 was supposed to be Act 1, and Act 1 was supposed to be Act 2. So which makes sense because that second part of that album is just kind of like dance. And it's like you got it's like different sounds that she's playing with that I wouldn't even necessarily classify as country. And so I believe that when people feel like they can't be included, and that's always how it is. When you're not included, you got an attitude, and you're gonna start a negative discourse about whatever the fuck it is. You didn't get invited to the slumber party. Oh, Michelle is now a slut. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's true. Like, I'm thinking of this episode of Arthur. Yes, I said Arthur. And yes, I am 38 years old and I have a PBS subscription so I can watch Arthur on Amazon Prime. Thanks. Where DW was just being such a bratty brat. I ain't gonna call my little baby a bitch, but yeah. And
I know,
they were trying to figure out like what the hell, like what is grinding DW's gears? Why is this little 4 or 5-year-old just so angry? And it was simply because some girl had a sleepover and she was not invited, but all her other friends were invited. So people do that all the time. You're not always welcome, and that's cool. Enjoy it for what it is and move along, or not like it at all. But all this weird discourse surrounding Beyonce and Beyonce trying to, just do whatever and she just wants these awards and this accolades. It's not about you. It's about the origin of it all. We Taking Back was ours. We just talked about community, when we were talking to the guys from Love, Peace, and Spades.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's so windy out here. It's like they was like 80 mile an hour wind. And it's just like, just let them be great in their own space. You know what I mean? And just really let it be that. So it's always weird. I just feel like, y'all, like, I'm not about to go in the comments and argue with people. I'm not doing all of that. Like, leave it alone. But
it's no point.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna ask you this. Since we're talking about music,
Yep.
now I want to stay here and not talk about Drake. I don't want to talk about Drake.
That's fine.
Luther Vandross.
Did you see the whole documentary?
I don't know why I'm getting emotional about Luther Vandross. Like, he been there for 20 years and it still feel like yesterday. And maybe it's some traumatic thing that maybe it has to do with my
It's those two songs, I think.
It's everything. Listen, my homeboy sent me screenshots during the holiday, him listening to Luther Christmas album. I was like, I don't even know why you torturing yourself. Like, Luther's voice is, oh my God. And then it's weird because they always say, like, oh, is there a celebrity that passed and you cry? And I like Luther Vandross for me, like, still hits home. Like, I don't know, for me, just I can't explain it, but then you seeing his life, and you would think that he was this older guy and he was only 50 something when he passed. Like, still relatively young. And then oh my God, like, forgetting that I forgot that he sang with David Bowie and composed like some of his music, and all these other people. I didn't even know that he sang like backup on like or helped compose La Freak.
With you talking about with the Chic with Nile Rodgers.
Yeah. Did not know that. And then it was just such a dope documentary, and a lot of his life, and I think his existence speaks to how no matter how great you are, sometimes you're just not prepared for what comes with being a star. Like, being in that spotlight. And, now you the butt of jokes. And like they said, he was, a lot of people didn't know Luther Vandross was funny. He was able to poke fun at himself. Like when Eddie Murphy cracked the joke about him, and he brought the big old bucket of chicken out, and, on the stage when he was performing and all these different things, and, finding the humor in that. But, I think I was more so sad for him.
I agree.
Because he just never got to fully live his life as himself.
And I never even thought about Any Love being that sad of a song. Like,
dude,
like I mean, I believe that he was gay.
No, we
idea that he
had that twinkle in his eye.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize it then as a young coming up as a kid that he was gay. But watching this, it ain't no way he wasn't gay. Like,
I don't know. Like, I think as a kid I knew, because we never saw him with the woman.
Well, somebody told me, I think I might have been in high school. It's like, Luther Vandross is gay. I was like, what? I didn't believe it. I sat there and was like,
here's the thing, is but at that time, and even still to a little bit of a certain extent, his audience are Black women, and him wanting to cross over and all these different things, and they pushing kind of, no, we don't think that realm is for.
I got a question for you, Don. Why do we as Black artists, and if you go back to the 5 Heartbeats, JT says in there, he was like, the crossover don't, what did he say? He says like the crossover don't never seem like it cross over. Like, why are we always, and I get that in the 80s because it was the way the music is, but why do we feel we gotta cross over? You could come listen to
that
my
money
shit
different. That money hit different.
I know, but how many artists that have crossed over and been able to come back? Is excluding Beyonce, Michael Jackson, Prince, Mariah Carey.
Yeah, Mariah.
No.
Well, see, here's the thing.
Janet
Mariah,
Jackson.
I wouldn't even say that Mariah necessarily crossed over. Mariah Carey did 2 cuts. No, she was doing 2 cuts.
Oh, I would say she was pop at the beginning. She crossed back to us.
Yeah, I would say that. But if anything, she was like, I'm gonna give the niggas they shit and I'm gonna give the Yankees they shit. Like when you really think about it, because it's literally almost Mariah Carey has 2 versions of every song when you really think about it.
But I just think I'm like when people cross over in general, they try to, it never goes right. Cisco, I remember he tried to cross over, didn't go right.
When did he try to cross over? When did Cisco try to cross over?
That second album, the Dragon Returns album, it was all like poppy songs on there. Like he was trying. That strong song.
I like Return to the Dragon.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. Name me one. No, all the songs you think about you like are on the first one, not that second Cisco album. He tried to really cross over on that second album.
Okay, hold on. Let me look. Is it? I don't even think it's Return to the Dragon. It's like Return to Dragon. Yeah, okay, yeah, it is Return to Dragon.
Yeah, name me a song on there you like. Go look at them. Go look at them cuts.
This album actually really don't have that many songs.
But you don't know no singles off of there. He was going real hardcore.
That I knew. I remember this.
Yeah, but he was trying to cross over.
But you know what? I don't think it's necessarily that. I think people.
It's not a bad thing. It's got to be
the way you have to do it. So it's like a kind of like a gradual thing. Like you kind of got to ease people into it. Mm-hmm. There's a joke there, and I'm not gonna.
Yeah, no, we don't.
But I don't know, like, you know, and Luther Vandross, I think in hindsight, he kind of was a universal artist, because think of where he really kind of started.
Oh no, he was a universal artist.
You really, you doing stuff for David Bowie, and then David Bowie plugging you with people.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like, I think that was the part that
I'm glad it wasn't salacious though either though, Dom. I'm glad it wasn't salacious.
No, oh, absolutely. I mean, it was nothing to be salacious about.
But he never found no love. Like that was the point.
That was the part. And I was telling Clint how I enjoyed it, and he didn't care for it. He was like, I didn't learn nothing that I didn't really know or whatever. So for me,
but I don't think that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to honor. It was set up to honor their friend.
That's why I was like, for me, I was like, I think. I was like, there are certain people that don't know all the ins and outs of everything. You know, people don't, everybody don't know that he was doing jingles. I thought it was dope how we, like, I didn't know that the you came from a damn jingle. You know what I mean?
Me neither. I didn't know that.
So I told him, I said, we all knew the truth about him. And I was like, I think the sad part, the interesting part is him just not being able to be himself, like them saying that he didn't want to, like disappoint his mom. And, he just was saying how God had given him all of these great things in life, except for love. Why couldn't he have love? Baby, I boo-hooed.
And when the one guy said, he was like, I don't like that song, it's depressing. And I was like, dude, since I know that, I can't even listen to that song the same now.
Mm-hmm. It was such a good documentary. And
it honored him. Like sometimes
I think he would have been proud. And even how they was trying to play, Patty, because like they did interview Patty and then they ended up cutting.
I didn't like that. I did not like that, how they try to throw Patty up under the bus with that.
And you know, what she said, like she didn't say nothing that we didn't know, and she was not trying to dishonor her friend. Like they were friends. When he had that stroke, she was coming to take care of him, help his mama. Like bringing food, doing all these different things where everybody can't say that. You know what I mean? And so she showed up for him. And that's the thing. Like I think that everybody kind of wants in their life is to be able to live it full out and but also being able to be themselves. And that's the thing is like, you know, we as a culture still are very hush about, you know, different things, sexuality, kink, all this stuff. You want to shame people, just let people be. And see, I think what they was afraid of, and I wonder if the record label too also was like, hey, whatever you do, you need to do behind closed doors. And this NDA gonna be tight because you got records to sell, you got money to make, and if it come out that you are, you know, gay or whatever, that can mess up
everything.
Yeah, mess up everything, which is still strange because, you know, women be marrying, you know, men that is clearly gay, but whatever. Y'all weird, and you know, I ain't gonna listen to Luther Vandross. Fuck y'all. You know, so I think that was the part that really pulled at my heartstrings and just like that made me sad. But also in hindsight, I was happy that somebody made something for him and created something that was really great and was able to share, you know, that with the world, you know, and you know, a lot of people just don't understand the cost and the price of fame. You know, Luther and his weight yo-yoing. You know, and that's a lot of stress on your heart. And you know, and it's sad that his life ended so soon. There gotta be a vault of Luther songs somewhere.
It's gotta be. That's no question.
That was a really nice thing to watch on like Saturday night. I enjoyed that. Actually, it wasn't Saturday. Was that Friday? Whenever it was, but it was really good.
I really enjoyed it. It was, you know, like I didn't need to be salacious, man. It was just like people want to be like, and then Luther got the cocaine habit. Like, yeah, I mean, that's what I don't know if that's what Clint was looking for, like, but sometimes
that's what they were. And sometimes a lot of people's lives are not like that.
Yeah. And what he might have just been boring like that. Think about that too. He could just been boring.
Yeah, like everybody ain't doing drugs. Everybody ain't out here sleeping with whoever. But yeah, man. And that was just interesting. And I was glad that he was able to kind of honor his father and his mother with that last track.
With that last song, man. And that's crazy to think about. One of your biggest songs, you had a stroke and you were hearing it, but you couldn't even sing it live for people. Yeah. You couldn't really fully feel it.
Man.
This is life, man, is a bitch like that, man.
Man. Be kind to people. Because you never know what people be going through, you know, behind closed doors. So
when he said that any love, like the idea of any love, like I got all this shit, but just any love would be good for me. I ain't never had. So that makes me know that he wasn't really technically, you know, but I'm saying, but he wasn't out there with people.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the thing, you know, I know they was like, oh, he, you know, he probably had lovers or whatever. I was like, nah. I was like, it ain't the same. Like he could interact, he can kick it with people, but he wanted somebody to love and to love him back. Man, we love you, Luther.
All right, now.
I'm Doja. They sleep. Yeah, we part of Just Posted Podcast, man. The best show on this network. Come on, check, girl.
Seriously, man. Just Posted. It's just me and Doja sitting back talking about what the fuck going on in the world and the streets.
We say labor of love. He said labor of love. I ain't say that shit. Shout out to you know what I'm saying, everybody coming to watch though, man. We really appreciate y'all. Holla at y'all later.
Hey man, this nigga just tall for no reason.
Gone.
And he do regular jobs. Don't forget that.
John, where can people hit you up at?
Yeah, I can find me at St. Angeles on everything. I'll be on the episode of Advice from a Fuckboy. Clint brought back his podcast after being on hiatus for like several years. So we talk about love relationships, and I think it was like how come people aren't smitten anymore? Like what happened to people being smitten when it comes to, meeting people and dating. So it's a good time. And y'all check that out.
Too much information. You can't be smitten when you have too much information on somebody. Like I can go to their Instagram and say, oh, so this motherfucker want to go to Aspen and kick it? Okay. Fuck them then. So you know, there's no mystery. You can figure out what somebody
I don't think, I yes and no. But I think sometimes, it's understanding perception, and everything that you see ain't real. And so sometimes when you get to meet people, and really get to know them, you see this completely different side that makes you kind of like really enjoy being around them and all these different things. And it was funny because I told him when I met my guy, I was like, I remember he walked in the kitchen and he took my breath away. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah. He's like, I don't think nobody ever, no woman has ever said that about me. And I was like, I don't know. It was just different. It felt different. It's been chaotic ever since.
So, man, thank you all for listening always, man. And when is that coming out that people could check it out?
I'll send it to you. I'll send you the link.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And definitely go on the links below in the description. If you're on audio and video, to check out everything that they're doing in love, peace, and spades. And we will see y'all next week. Peace.